That's Kamala Harris in battleground Georgia for her first rally since the DNC. Her opponent, Donald Trump, was in Michigan today clobbering Kamala on the economy. Watch this.
With your vote, we will defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. She doesn't know what the American dream is. Over the past 4 years, Kamala and crooked Joe Biden have presided over an economic reign of terror, committing one financial atrocity after another. My vision is for a middle class that is once again the envy of the entire world.
New Fox polls from the Sun Belt show the race in a dead heat. Harris with a slight lead over Donald Trump in Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, but Trump's up in North Carolina. And those same voters overwhelmingly trust Trump on the economy by 8 points. Judge Deneen Pirro, he's taking it to Kamala hard on the economy. Do you think he's going to stay on the economy for the rest of the campaign?
Well, I think it's very important that he stay on the economy, because after we get over the joy and the hope and all the other nonsense, people are going to come back to their senses and say, what matters is whether or not I can feed my family, whether I can buy a house, whether I can pay the rent, and maybe I could take a vacation one day as opposed to paying this tax, essentially, which is the cost of inflation. I think that everything that Kamala has said has been a nightmare every time she broaches the issue of inflation, whether it's price gauging, and as a prosecutor, she should know it's price gouging, and she, is panned on the left and the right. Then her second proposal was, I want to tax unrealized gains. She really got hit on that one, too, so she's 0 for 2. The only thing she's good on is what she copied Donald Trump on, which was no tax on tips. And in the end, I mean, she can blame corporate greed and Trump and COVID and price gauging, as well as the GOP and Russia, but she's in charge. She signed, she was the one vote on that Inflation Reduction Act, which broke America's back. She can't get away with it. She can't say, my values are still the same or not the same. Doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Americans are hurting.
It's odd because she has to run against the Joe Biden economy. She has to say, I'm going to help lower prices and home prices that got big under Joe Biden and her.
I want to make just one point here. So we've been doing a couple of stories on Newsroom this week about how many retirees are coming out of retirement looking for jobs because they're on a fixed income and all of their costs have gone up so much that they can't make ends meet because the cost of food's gone up, housing, like the housing insurance that we talked about, and their car insurance has gone up. So they have to figure out a way to get enough money coming in every month in order to make those basic payments. So I were President Trump, like, for example, in Georgia, it was in Savannah, I think Dana Marie McNichol, she was our reporter that was there at a job fair. What do you think of the job fair? Like when you're in college and you go and you look around like, do I want to work here? Do I want to work there? No, this was for retirees. Maybe it was in Florida. But there was also one in Georgia because we've done the story. They're everywhere. Yep. We talked to a grandma in Pennsylvania. She doesn't want to have to go back to work, but she needs to go back to work. She's a retired nurse. She can't do the nursing work anymore because of her age, et cetera. If I were the Trump-Vance campaign, I would pull together some of these retirees and their grandchildren, because the grandchildren are the ones that can't afford the housing because the housing market's all screwed up, and the car insurance is going through the roof. And so talk about a sandwich generation. Gen X is sitting there going, I got to help my parents. I got to help my kids. Could somebody help us at some point? And I'd focus on them. Yeah, focus on the American dream. Trump brought that up a lot in Wisconsin. I'd stay on that message.
I agree completely, Jesse. Did I ever explain to you the three-legged stool behind the American dream?
No, please tell me.
Sit down. For the American dream, you need economic freedom, rule of law, and civility, right? And these are the three things the left have kind of deliberately sabotaged under the guise of flowery language, but it's a radical mission. If you close businesses, increase regulation, increase spending, so we have inflation, you hike taxes, you punish people who want to achieve, economic freedom dies. Then, if you decriminalize theft, you release repeat offenders, you handcuff or defund the police, that results in cities where nobody wants to live, and you don't have businesses, people flee. Lastly, if you demonize half the country with race or gender politics, there goes the civility. So you see, it's very simple what is going on. Trump should be focusing on the American dream: economic freedom, rule of law, civility, right? And I listened to his speech there, and I found it grounded in specifics. He had a few detours here and there, but he was referring to the reality, what people see, smell, and hear, which is way far away from the kind of insulting propaganda of vibism. You know, vibes don't bring down prices. Vibes don't get cheaper bread or eggs. You know, vibes doesn't make it safer for your kid to get to school. Vibes are what you sell when your policies ruin the vibe called life.
The life vibe.
The life vibe.
Kamala Harris is running a little bit better on the economy as opposed to Joe Biden against Donald Trump because she's not Joe Biden and because a lot of people don't really know her as well. How does she separate herself economically from the economic record of the administration?
Well, I think she's obviously been doing it pretty well. So it was a 15-point advantage for Donald Trump in our last survey before this one. Now it's an 8-point advantage. If she can get that down to 3 or 4, that's a jump ball on that, and that's exactly where we want to be. The way that she's approaching it is to say we have a lot to be proud of, but I hear you on inflation. She's calling out directly the prices of certain items. Like, I know when you go to the grocery store that bread is up 50%, et cetera. But she has a lot to talk about in terms of lowering costs for people. To your point, Dana, definitely Trump should cut ads with retirees who are feeling that way. But the Democrats are cutting ads with seniors who are talking about their prescription drug prices, which have come down astronomically because of what's going on with the Inflation Reduction Act. And she's up with seniors. That's a demo that Trump needs. Seniors are the most reliable voting bloc. And in some of these swing states, she's up double digits with seniors. There was an analysis, Penn Wharton put out their budget model. So Trump's plan would add $5.8 trillion to the deficit. Hers would only add $1.2 trillion. Moody's has said that he would cause a spike in inflation. A lot of that has to do with his immigration policy that would be coming in. Also, these tariffs, which he keeps maintaining, aren't a tax on the consumers, but we all know that they are. J.D. Vance said, no economists say that. It was one of those moments where you go, well, actually, all the economists say that. So right now, if you're listening to him, he's not making a cogent argument on the economy. He's saying on day one, I'll fix it all, which is certainly not a plan. It didn't work for him when he said, I'll fix it all with health care, and it's not working on the economy as well as he needs.
All right, well, Moody's also said there was going to be no inflation, and they were dead wrong. So
okay, well, that invalidates
I don't always
everything I said.
trust what the economists say.
Well,
I
you do
trust
when they say
anecdotal evidence, Jessica.
Right. Okay, get someone in a golf cart at the Villages to tell you that it's fine then.
How dare you?
Wow. How dare-
Oh, they're watching right now. Hi, Villages.
I
love you. I love you.
I do too, and there are a lot of them there for Kamala, but that would be an anecdote that you would use.
Next. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.